Hello everyone. Happy Monday. We are back. We are live once more. Don't know what that voice is I'm putting on, but there we go. We are live once more. How are you guys doing? Oh, I'm out of focus. There we go. That's better. How's it going? So, what we're doing today, we've actually got quite a significant chunk of things to get through today. There's two absolute must-haves. And there's a couple of maybes we'll get to. Maybe. So yeah, we've got a bunch of things to do. Edward, thank you very much for being a member for 27 months. We march from a crag and we shall know no fear. I agree. Well, look who is still breathing. I am still breathing. I haven't slept since Friday night. Is the best way to put it. You haven't slept since Friday night, brother. You need to go and just take it easy. Get yourself horizontal, not vertical. Mate, please sleep. I know it's rich coming from me, but we need you alive, fit and healthy. That's what we require. Anyway, how's everybody else? Has everybody else had some sleep? I actually had a pretty decent sleep last night. I slept really badly last week, but I had a really decent sleep last night. Took me a while to get off, but eventually I did. And then I slept right through. It was nice. This is the first time in a long time that I've done that. I was prepared for Age of Imprisonment, but Amazon messed up delivery, so I countered that event with Hades 2 starting. It is good. Oh, okay. I watched, I think, maybe 5 minutes in between painting of various things. Park and Harbour playing it. It looked interesting. It looked fun. Anyway, we are here. We are live. So we've got one thing left to do. Two things, technically. Two things left to do on the king himself. On Helm Hammerhand. Here he is. This is where we got to with him. I think he looks pretty good, even if I do say so myself. I'll just put my hands in, it'll... There you go. What do you think? I'm pretty proud? I'm pretty proud of how this has gone. So there we go. So we've got one thing left to do on him, which is what we're going to do right now. We should take some Talisar Blue. And apply it over one gem. So I'm just going to very quickly do that. Because in the video I said we were done, but in the video we're not done. And so with that all done, there is actually one last thing left to do, which we missed. After looking at the box art, though, you do see it, and it's to take some Talisar Blue and apply this over the top of this tiny little gem just here on the sword. Like that. There you go. That's job number one. So there we go. So yeah, Helm is now done. The only thing left to do is to do the basing, which we're not going to film because we've filmed this style of basing over and over and over again. It's Sterland mud, dry brush with Tyrant Skull. There's no like individual rocks or anything like that. But that is Helm Hammerhand, now finished, looking spectacular. So our next job naturally is to do just that, is to do the basing. So we're just going to pop him off the thing. There we go. And what we need is a tiny little bit of tissue paper. Not very much at all. Actually, we need a tiny little bit more than that. There we go. So the reason we need that is because what we're going to do is we're going to jam this in the hex hole that's just here. Like that. Just going to use my knife to just poke it through a little bit more. There we go. So that should flatten it off, right? So that we can apply our Sterland mud over the top of that quite nicely. Did you have a good time painting Helm? I did. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed how he's come out. I'm very, very happy with it. Warden of Ultramar. That's you, Josh. Me, the Warden of Ultramar. Maybe when I've done 2,000 points. When you do Freylaf, you should do a Rohan warrior as a warrior of Hallowdale, an alternate colour scheme. Oh, really? If you can get me one warrior of Rohan, or do I have to buy 24 of them to do one? To be fair, when I looked up, I did think Warhipster was painting Father Christmas. Well, yeah, Battle Santa, he is here. I've tried my best to make him not look like Battle Santa, but he does a little bit. On account of the big white beard and the red and the green. Could have just leaned into it and painted the horse with, you know, stuck some antlers onto the horse and painted the horse's nose red. That would have been fun. Actually, this reminds me, I do actually need to make an order from Games Workshop. Got some things I need to buy. Mostly primer cans and texture paint. However, I have had a pretty cool idea for a series of MESBG videos that will last the entirety of the year. Next year and this year. And I'd be eager to get that one started before the new year. I need to bring this closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Must have been fun watching Saturday's reveals and thinking, oh great, even more models for my Ultramarines. I honestly, I didn't know what that was going to be. I mean, the reveal was really cool. I thought Captain Titus restored to his rightful place as captain of the second company. Of course, that does mean they've probably murdered Captain Akaran, who famously refused to give Titus more than 2 men. At any one point, but also interesting that Chiron is missing. as well. Was Chiron dead and killed in action? Is he off being censured for being a bit overzealous? Almost getting his battle brothers killed? You know, what's the deal there? But, you know, we'll find out, I guess. Or maybe we never will. Maybe we never will. The only thing I thought was a little bit funny was that they painted Titus and Gadriel. Their faces are very pale. They look like they've seen... They look like they've seen a ghost. So, if Games Workshop chooses to send that box to me, we shall be putting a little bit more colour in their cheeks. That's for sure. I don't want them looking like they're... like they're malnourished. I'm just past the ugly stage of an Astra Militarum Sentinel in Krieg colours. Then someone told me that the Death Corps don't use them. Is this true? The Death Corps can use anything. I don't see why they wouldn't use Sentinels. There's nothing wrong. I mean, is there a Death Corps of Krieg Sentinel? Data entry, data slate? No. Data sheet. But there's no reason why you couldn't have them. Everything's combined ops anyway, isn't it? Why is my messages blocked? Your messages shouldn't be blocked, Edward. I can read them. What message are you getting? Hi Josh, I know we're not sure what new stuff is out from now till Christmas, but if there isn't much, any chance for some of the AOS backlog to get finished? What are you after in particular, Wiggle Wiggles Bottom? We do tend to finish off the year with some crazy ideas, you know. That kind of like that last week into the new year is usually when I'll do something silly. Like last year we painted Shalaxi Hellbane, Gordrak, and Fulgrim Transfigured. We had an absolutely crazy wrap-up week. Warden of Ultramar or Betrayer of Baal. I've had a lot of people suggesting that because I've chosen to do an Ultramarines project, that means that I'm just done with Blood Angels forever. And I'm like, no. That's not true. The one thing a lot of people forget is I am a YouTuber. I have content to make. I can't just make the same Blood Angels video over and over and over again. It's counterproductive. So that new jump captain that came out, right? The one with the relic shield and the thunder hammer. We did a Blood Angels jump captain in gold and everything when the first one came out. So that video already exists. There's no point making that video again. Part of me did think it would be quite funny to do a short on it, to do Contrast Plus how to paint Space Marine Captain with jump pack and relic shield And then in the video it just goes, "Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial. And today we're going to be painting the new Captain with jump pack and relic shield in the colours of the Blood Angels. So in order to paint this video, what we're going to do is we're going to watch this video." That's it. That's just the end of the video. Right, there we go. Basing is now on Helm. I need to rethink things. Huh? What are you rethinking? YouTube is having a funny 5 minutes. Is it? You could add a little Christmas tree. I could, Captain Mannerings. Thank you. How is Josh? Josh is okay, thank you very much. How are you? You started doing your job now, right? Okay. Job number 1. Done. It wouldn't let me post messages either. Oh. Yeah, I have no idea what that's all about. You're not, none of you are blocked or anything. Because I can see your messages coming through, so clearly YouTube's being a butt again. One model I would love to see you paint, Josh, is Glutos or Scolion. Ah, yes, a big complicated one. That's one that we might try and save depending on what the Head Knights of Slaanesh release looks like. Alright. The next job on our to-do list is to do some basing on our Tau, which are the stealth suits from Dead Silence. Which is what we've done. Here we are. They are all finished. So we just need to do a little bit of basey here. So the easiest thing of this is to take some black Templar and apply this over the top of the rocks. Which is what we generally like to do. Just like that. But there we go. How are you finding painting white flat armor like this on Tau? very easy. Yeah. I quite enjoy painting white armor. Yeah, it's good stuff. This video is actually probably going to be pretty short because these are not very complicated models at all. And I quite enjoyed that because there's not a ton of different sort of colouring going on these. It's white, black, red, and grey with a little bit of gold thrown in for good measure and a shiny gem. So it's actually quite a pleasurable experience to paint something like that when it's just a couple of colours. Had a thought, seeing as Nurgle Joshua Table's been invaded by blue fish things. It has indeed. I had a thought, seeing as Nurgle are getting loads of new stuff and they're my favourite faction, also that I'm asking very nicely, maybe a painting tutorial for the Glotkin. Oh no, the Glotkin rears its ugly head once more. The Glotkin has been on the to-do list for a very, very, very long time. We shall have to see. I personally don't particularly like the model and don't really want to paint it. Which is one of the many reasons why we've never done it. But, you know, eventually we probably will have to get around to doing it. So we'll have to see. I suspect if Games Workshop does choose to send me Warhammer Quest Darkwater, or indeed Festus, and the new Nurgle stuff as well, that shall renew calls for the rest of it. We'll have to see what happens. It'll be funny if it's the first thing that comes out next year, the Nurgle stuff. Because last year it was Orruk Warclans was the first thing that came out. And it feels a little bit... well, it feels quite funny to me that to launch a year with Maggotkin of Nurgle, given as that's usually when everyone's got the lurgy anyway. I mean, I started off this year, I don't know if you guys will remember from the very first stream we did on New Year's Day. I was very ill. I was not happy. When we painted some Lehman Russ battle tanks. And we were going to do the Baneblade, but then I just ran out of steam because I wasn't feeling very well. Are you getting one of the Christmas boxes? No. No, I won't be getting any of the Christmas boxes. I don't need any of them. Pray for Ilariel. Ah, see, now that is something that we could possibly do. Because she's built, primed, and ready to go. She's probably very dusty, so she needs a good dusting. But she's there. If you don't mind my asking, are there any tips on finding mould lines? I can generally find the more noticeable ones, but when I paint my model, I find there were more lines that I missed. Yeah, the best way to hunt for mould lines is to look at the components in the orientation that they were on the sprue. Right? So, it's to basically, I mean, let's have a look at this sprue here, whatever this is. Overhead. So this sprue right here being from Deathwatch, I think. Yes, this is from the Deathwatch, right? So essentially the mold lines are only ever going to be on this plane. They're never going to be like, you're not going to have one going down like this, because the mold line is this is pressed out of a mold. That's the bottom half, that's the top half. So the mold lines are always going to be down the middle, around there, right? So when you're clipping off your components, if you look, for example, at that head just there, if I come real close, there is a mold line. There it is, going in that orientation. So really, the only place to be looking, yeah, you can sit across all four of those, right? Boom, 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 boom. The only place to be looking is in the orientation that they are on the sprue. So it's to always turn the component to the side of where it came out. So in a head, it's usually quite easy, and just rotate it like this, and that's where you're going to find them. I'm really hoping Prime Celestin Prime gets either a tutorial on how to paint or a glow up to the model. Well, I would like it to get a newer model. Yeah. This is always the worst part about basing. Is they're literally just waiting for paint to dry. I mean, it's generally the worst part about painting anyway, but humbly asking for a Shugengan lore tutorial. Thanks. Given as they announced a bunch of new Cathay stuff, if Games Workshop chooses to send me the new Cathay stuff, we will aim to do new Cathay stuff around the same time. So it won't happen until then, if they do. And if they don't, then they'll definitely do it, because I want to be part of the conversation. But we won't do any Cathay until that's announced. Because it's counterintuitive. Would you rather build or base 100 clan rats? I would rather build 100 clan rats because they're like 2 components. What do you make of the new Blight Kings? Previous models not old. Do you think this could indicate other models could get a refresh even if not old? I think they're nice. I think the new Blight Kings are nice. I don't know when the old Putrid Blight Kings came out. The old Putrid Blight Kings came out 10 years ago. Apparently. 2015. With were they on square bases? No, they're on round bases. Oh no. Oh yeah, they were on round bases. Yeah, it's a 10-year-old kit. I like the new ones. I thought they were nice. They look to be on the same size bases, so actually, if anything, it's quite nice just to add them into sets of Putrid Blight Kings you already have. And I think it's better in some ways. Like, this is the thing I think with Age of Sigmar stuff, right? Is that if you have because I've got 10 Putrid Blight Kings, right? And I want 20. What I didn't want was 20 of the same. So actually, because there's no limit to, there's no there's no unit rule of 3 or anything like that. You can just use them side by side. Hello, Mr. Quatkin. Do you ever get the mini of the month? No, I don't go into Games Workshop to go and get it. Somebody else can do it. Most of the time, right? I've probably done it. You see, what's the mini of the month this month? $3rd of November. A Hellsmith of Hashut. Yeah, I don't need a member of the Infernal Cohort. We've done that. We've done a video on all of the last ones. We did the Space Wolf. We did the Ratlings. We've done the Vongrim Harpoon crew. We've done that guy. We have done Goremongers. We've done Blight. We've done Barrow Guard. We've done Emperor's Children. We've done Deathcore of Krieg. We've done Striking Scorpions. We've done Storm Vermin. We haven't done the Hernkin Jaeger. That was from October 2024. So yeah, invariably I've done it already, so I don't need it. So somebody else should have it so that they can do it. They are limited after all. Right, these should be dry. So now we need a brush. There's a brush. Skeleton Horde. Because we've got a couple of skulls on these bases. So our Shaz Vray has one. There we go. You don't have one, 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 you do have one. I mean, that looks like a Necron skull to me, but is it a Necron skull? Yes, it is. Oh well. We'll do something with that in a minute. Okay. Wait for the paint to dry. So yeah. We're only 7 models away from our goal of 500 on the year. That's insane. It's the 10th of November, so we're a third of the way through the month. So we've got 30 days in September, April, June, and November. So we've got 51 days left of the year. 51 days. It's not many days. I mean, we're definitely going to get 500. That's for sure. Because I've got a couple of massive things to do in the month of December. Halls of Thranduil, as an example. We've got some of our Warriors of Mirkwood right here to deal with. We're going to be doing 6 Warriors of Mirkwood, 10 Palace Guard, 10 Sentinels of Mirkwood, Legolas and Tauriel. So that's, 10, 26, 27, 28. 28 models there. Oh yes, I need to do some shopping. Games Workshop, here we go. So I wanted a tin of White Scar because I ran out. Okay. We have to do this the old-fashioned way. Go to Build and Paint. Paint. White Scar. Thank you. Yes, I understand that it's not for children. We needed to get... Was it Grace here as well? I think so. Because I did use up a tin of Grace here. I don't know if I need to replace it. Sometimes it's best to be just safe than sorry, right? And just buy it. Hope I wasn't being cheeky, by the way. Josh was just sprouting some Nurgle ideas. No, I understand. There's going to be theoretically, if Games Workshop sends me Darkwater and the new Maggot Kin of Nurgle, there's going to be a lot of Nurgle content coming. I have in my possession Rotigus. I need to build him, but I do have Rotigus. So that's one that we definitely could do if they don't send it to me and I want to be part of the conversation of everyone looking for Maggot Kin of Nurgle. So we shall have to see what's going on. Spray. Gracier Primer. Add to cart. Yes, I understand. It's extremely flammable aerosol. Yes, got it. Cool. I don't think I need Wraithbone. I'm pretty certain I don't need Wraithbone. Okay. So, the next thing was to go here. Filter by Numenor. Add that to cart. And then it was to go here. Filter by Rivendell. Oh, you get 4 with 6. Okay, that changes things a little bit. No, it doesn't change things that much. Oh, actually, that is the solution to a lot of my problems right there. Yes. Okay, we'll do that. And that's kind of it, I think. Will this next batch of minis take you over 500 for the year? Oh, of this lot? No. No, this isn't already included. I've already accounted for these. The next things that I've got to do definitely will take me over to 500. Over the next couple of days, so because I've done Helm, I would really like to do Freya Laft next. I've got him literally right here. So Freya Laft's there. I'd really like to do that. The other thing as well is I've also got all of the Ultramarines, which I need to build. Which would definitely take me over 500 anyway, because that's 31 Space Marines, near as damn it, I think. It's 20 Terminators. No, it's more than 21. It's 20 Terminators, 10 Sternguard. That's 30. 3 Victrix Honour Guard. That's 33. And then a captain, a librarian, a chaplain, and an ancient. So that's 37. There's 37 models there anyway. Big Rotty would be awesome. There you go. Are you doing the Ultramarines in time for 500 worlds, whenever that may be? Well, I think that would probably be a sensible place to time it for, right? I've no idea when it's going to be, but I think it would be a sensible time to. It would be a sensible time sensible moment to time them for, so that for 500 worlds we have an Ultramarines army and the 3 Primarchs. What? You mean the Horus Heresy Primarchs? That's nothing to do with Crux Terminatus. We do have Guilliman, Mortarion, and Perturabo to do. Again, that might be the final week. How many people do you think are getting a Crux Terminatus plus the Christmas box for an army? Yeah, maybe. Maybe a couple. What was I doing? Oh yes, shopping. Wise Guard, Gracier, Warriors of Numenor with spears. That guy. Which helps. Yep. And... we do want... yeah. More. Middle Earth. Yes, I think we're good. Is there any brushes or any paints that I need? I do think I actually need a... no. More build and paint. Brushes. Yes, one of them. Any paint? Any paint? Oh, Stirland Mud. Stirland Mud. And we'll get 2 of those because we use it all the time. Okay. I think that was everything I needed. Is there any paint? What are we doing for... we've got Iron Warriors, we've got Retributor Armor, we've got Liberator Gold, got Ironbreaker, got Stormhost Silver. Yeah, we're good on that front. Blood Angels Red, yeah. Flesh Toes Red, yeah. Black Legion, Black Templar, yeah. All of the usual suspects have their backups. Okay. Bear with me just one moment. That last message came in super delayed. Sent it when you were going over models to finish this year. Oh, I see. It's like... Primarchs in my Ultramarines army? I've already done him. Yes, we want to sign in here. Okay. 4 working days. Ugh. Yeah, well, it has to be done. Okay. It's a good way to occupy your time while you're waiting for paint to dry, is to just buy stuff. We'll do it with that. Yeah. What is the difference between Sterling Mud and Battlemire? Well, one they still make, and one is discontinued. Why haven't you made a video on how to paint a Mutalith Vortex Beast? Is it because you can't find any to buy, or just don't want to do it? I have a Mutalith Vortex Beast. I will eventually do it. I just haven't had the time, and it's not a priority. Is why I haven't done it. We would have done it when the Thousand Suns Codex came out, but the Thousand Suns Codex came out at the same time as something else. There was something else that happened at the same time, because we did the robots, the Sekitar robots, and something else happened at the same time, so that way we ran out of time to do anything else. Let me go and see. What did we do? Sekitar robots, where are you? Oh yeah, we did the Scarab Occult Terminators, because that's what people have been asking for a lot of. And it was sandwiched between Blades of the Hollow King, sandwiched between Space Wolves and Soulblight Gravelords. So it meant that we didn't have time to do Mutalith Vortex Beast at the time. The Wizard Lizard. We've done a lot of videos this year. How many have we done? When did what was we started off with... The very first video we did was a sprue review. It was Auric Warclans. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 2, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, almost there, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. And we're finishing off 2 videos already at the moment, so we'll be 161 on the year already. That is a lot. That is a lot of videos. Little brother got himself into playing Blood Angels. Time to direct him to your channel for inspiration. Absolutely. The home of Blood Angels how to paint videos, that's for sure. Right, we need to use a little bit of Iron Warriors. I'm just going to go straight from the pot here, because this is a Necron skull just down there, and we're just going to it's a very fresh pot of Iron Warriors, which is why I'm comfortable doing that straight from the pot. We're going to dry brush it anyway. There we go. Averaging over 3 a week for the year already. I know, it's been crazy. 159 videos we've done this year. even if we just averaged what we're supposed to, which is 2 a week, although I suspect we won't, up until the end of the year, we should only do another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, maybe 15. We should really realistically only do 15 more videos, but we won't, of course. We'll probably do another 30 or 40 videos. Josh, what purple would you suggest I dry brush over Luxion purple? It's for my Croxagores. The back scales will be purple. That's a good question. Luxion purple. Do you want it to be warm or cold? Hello, Will. Hello, Conic Melter. That's the question. Do you want to be warm or cold? Probably everything with Wraithbone following your suggestions for the Agrodons. Okay, yeah. So if you want to keep it warm, then you would want to dry brush it with like a warm purple or a pink even. So you could, depending on how bright it wants to be, you could dry brush it, for example, with Fulgrim pink. That'd be quite bright. The other thing you could do is you could dry brush it with Cacophony purple. That would also work. If you wanted to introduce, just tone and pull that colour down a little bit, just to bring it a little bit colder, you could use Slaanesh grey. Of course, the final thing that you could always do is pick something like Cacophony purple to dry brush it, and then do the whole lot with a very gentle one of Screaming Skull. But yeah, there's a lot of options. Cacophony purple would probably be the thing I would recommend the most. Maybe something like the T'Challa Lilac. Maybe. Will, thank you very much for being a member for 29 months. Speaking of members, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support the channel, you could, if you're not already, consider becoming a member of the channel. That helps support me and the things that we do around here. That would be really kind of you if you did. Do you think you do the skin differently on Rotigus? The Great and Clean one you painted back in 2021 was before we had the Wave 2 of contrast in 2022. I would paint Rotigus as he is on the box art. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go off. I wouldn't do off. I wouldn't go off piste, off script. He's a named character after all. He should be the colour that he is on the box art, which is different to the colour of a Great Unclean one, after all. If you'd like to support the channel for free, of course, you can always consider leaving a like on the stream. That would be really nice. That's a free way to support this, support what we do around here. The more likes, the more YouTube likes it and sends it out to more people. And the more people that find it, the more people maybe they hit the subscribe button. I love your videos, mate. I'm currently working on the Rohan Warriors and planning on doing the Fellowship next. Have you thought about doing any Iron Hills or Champions of Erebor? I have Hunt for the Arkenstone. I have that box. I know that's not Champions of Erebor, but that is Thorin's company, isn't it? So yeah, that's the only thing I've currently got planned at the minute. What if I leave a dislike on the stream? You can do that if you want. I won't be able to tell that you've done that. But, you know. Towel looking good. Thank you very much. Just waiting for that Iron Warriors to dry there so we can just throw a little bit of shade over it. Feels dry. Feels dry to the touch. Let's do it. Let's throw some Nuln Oil. There we go. Easy. How likely is a 100k Christmas? Entirely unlikely at this point. We'll be lucky if we crack 96, I think. Need to go watch your Calgar and Victrix Honour Guard vids after stream. In a bit of a painting drought right now. My balcony where I usually do my base coating is closed for renovations. Oh, that's lame. Well, hopefully. I mean, you can live vicariously through me for a little bit, Winchester. We've got some really cool stuff coming. And some really big painting projects, actually, over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Which is... I'm really excited to get started on all of it. Now we just wait for the Nuln Oil to dry. Unlikely bedfellows. The stealth suits of the Tau Sept and Viola and Helm Hammerhand, and yet. What was your favourite reveals from the stream the weekend? Darkwater. Absolutely Darkwater. I think it's a breathtaking box. I'm very excited for Warhammer Quest. Very, very excited for it. Been waiting for a long time to have a Warhammer Quest set. A new one. Because I wasn't going to do another Cursed City. So I'm just very, very, very excited to have it. Do you figure out how to paint Nurgle metallic green after new review? I have ideas. I haven't tested any of them, but I have some ideas. Ideally, I would have access to the new, what are they called? The new metallic shades from Vallejo, the NMM stuff, the true metallic metal stuff. But I'm not going to do a Warhammer set with throwing at you some paints that aren't Citadel. So I have ideas on how I'm going to do it. I just have to execute them. We'll have to see. If it works. The question at the moment in my mind is basically like looking at that stuff. It feels like traditionally with Nurgle we've primed things in Wraithbone because it's, you know, they're gross and full of life, right? But actually looking at that stream yesterday, Saturday night, the new stuff all looks like it's more actually appropriate to go for something like Grey Seer because it feels really, really cold. So we'll have to wait and see. Like, sometimes like the difference between seeing a model on screen and seeing a model in person and the box in person is a world of difference, right? Rune Lord with a Thonian camo shade over the top. Nah, it's not going to be strong enough. It'll just wash out Rune Lord. You need it to be a lot stronger. You're probably looking more closer towards actually something like Leadbelcher with either Militarum green or crude camo over the top. Sorry for another one. What would you dry brush over Aethermatic blue for my Saurus warriors? One or two either Baharoth if you want it to be warm, or Blue Horror if you want it to be cold. One of the two. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling the new Warhammer Quest might be out before Christmas. Well, I hope it is. Then I get to do something before Christmas. It does add a significant chunk of miniatures to my to-do list, but ones that I'm very excited to do. But shall have to wait and see. Yeah, I should be patient. I have to be just as patient as the rest of you. I have no idea when it is. But I don't have any of the Christmas boxes. So actually, next week's content, I can tell you all about. Next week's content is going to be Contrast Plus How to Paint Helm Hammerhand and Contrast Plus How to the Ultimate Contrast Plus Guide to Painting Horses. I would totally subscribe 5,711 more times if YouTube allowed it. I know. That's very kind. We all know it's on your desk right now. Oh, yeah? Is it? That's what's on my desk right now. I don't see dark water anywhere. Had to disappear back basically immediately, but I'm back. How is everyone doing? I think we're doing quite well, GameX. How are you doing? GameX sent 5 Warhipster gifted memberships. Those are our first new members of the week, GameX. You're a legend. Thank you very much. Are these the new Kill Team Tau? They are indeed, James. Yeah, these are the new stealth suits from Dead Silence. They're an interesting little bunch. The fun thing about these is I think here's my view on them, right? I think they're a really cool kit. I think they're a really, really cool kit. They're very dynamic. They're a lot more shapely. And they're nicely detailed. And I think they look sick, right? I think these look great, right? I don't know about you, but I think these look fantastic, right? There's just a little bit more character to them, a little bit more smooth edges to them, and they feel a little bit more modern and they feel nice. I like these a lot. The problem with them is that you can't like take the spare burst cannons from this and put it on something else, unlike with the more traditional stuff. Because the more traditional stuff, the burst cannons and the fusion blasters is the exact same burst cannon and exact same fusion blaster that goes on everything else, right? It's pretty much same thing for like the crisis suits. So do they fit with the rest of the range? 100% they do. Like these guys with and those 2 new Tau boys that were previewed on Saturday. Oh, those 2 new suits. Absolute chef's kiss. They were lovely. Do they fit with them? Oh yeah, they do. And same for like the Vespid. Vespid will look really nice next to these. Do the older ones look nice next to these? No. And I don't think that the crisis suits these actually make the crisis suits look worse, I think, which is a slight problem. Now, does that mean eventually we're going to get new crisis suits? I actually would quite appreciate some new crisis suits. However, because these are so much more nicer, they are a lot more intensive to build. And I'll show you what I mean. If I can find the instruction manual. Oh, it's over there. Come here. Got it. So this is the... Let's just pop you out of the way for the minute. So this is the Dead Silence instruction manual. And as you can see, building a stealth suit is now significantly more intensive than it was before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 components to build one stealth suit. Right? And that's the Shazray. Okay? But so this is what I'm talking about with the sprues, right? Is if you look at that weapon, right? The fusion blaster and that burst cannon, they are very much meant to fit only with this set. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they will only fit with these. They won't fit on something else. So you'll have spare burst cannons if you use the fusion blasters, which we have. But can you then use those on something else? It's going to be much trickier to integrate them with something else. But yeah, that's the new stealth suits. Space Wolves are kind of similar, although you do get some really cool parts in there, right? You don't get a single helmet. Not a single helmet was had this day by the Wolf Scouts. You do get the bear arms, but like these guys, their arms are not key locked. So if there's like a particular thing that you like something like the combat blades, or the runic stave, or Jaws of the World Wolf, and all that kind of stuff. Actually, no, that's the weapon. There's a power weapon in here. There's the instigated bolt carbine. You can stick it on anything that you want, right? So you do get a cool, like a spare Space Wolves power sword. You do get the spare arm with the the bear arm. You do get a spare pelt, but you don't get a spare backpack to put it on. So a bit of carving will have to happen if you want to put the pelt on, because the pack leader changes right in here, so where it's a little bit confusing. You do have either the pack leader or the frost eye. Because if you want another leader for your Space Wolves, Wolf Scouts, you have a Rune Priest Skald instead. So that then becomes the unit leader. You see what I mean? But yeah, I mean, there's some cool stuff in here. It's a nice little set. Nice little set of miniatures. Hopefully this shapes up for more dynamic crisis suits in the future. Farsight doesn't look right next to him, and now especially with the new twins. Yeah. So you need 2 boxes to make all the ops. No, not necessarily. It depends on what you... I mean, yes. There's the... Right, so basically this is the... The easiest way to explain this is that you can build it as a set of 5 operators, which is what I've done, right? So we have the Ice Fang, the Skald, the Demolitions Expert, we have the Medic, and we have the Gunner, right? That's the 5 operators. In order to build the generic version of it, which is just Hunter, you would need a second one of those. But so to build all the operators, no, you don't need 2 boxes to build all the operators. You do need 2 boxes if you want to build the generic 40k version that's boring. I think is the correct answer to that. Yeah, the Fang Bearer, that's the Medic. Sniper and Leader is the same body. Yeah, that's what I mean. So to build the operators, you make the Rune Priest becomes the leader of the crew, and the sniper is one of the operators. To build a generic set of Wolf Scouts for 40k, I'm assuming, you would need 2 boxes to build a pack leader. As it were. I think that's how it's intended. I think what this is showing you is how to build boring Wolf Scouts, not for Kill Team, or the interesting one where everyone's a operator for Kill Team. And you definitely don't need 2 stealth suits to build all the operators in here. You can build all of them. I think. Right. After seeing the new Festus model, I have totally lost interest in painting Horticulus Slimux. We should view Horticulus Slimux as practice for painting Festus. He's not out anytime soon. He might be before the new year, he might not be, but... You got a little bit of a wait time on him. Right, Tyrant Skull. Here we go. Just wanted to drop by and say thank you for all your work. I watch all your videos and they're so soothing and satisfying. Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching them. Thank you for enjoying them. I'm genuinely just interested in playing Festus as a demon prince on foot. Do you mean the new character in Darkwater? Because Festus is the big fat guy on a slug. Or are you just going to use the Festus the Leech Lord as a demon prince on foot? Have you ever used Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl paints? No, I haven't. They know where they are. They know where I am if they want to send them to me. I'm kidding. No one knows where I am. I'm an enigma. I am a mystery. I cannot be found. Except on YouTube or Instagram. Or Steam. Or PlayStation Plus. Or Xbox Live. But apart from all those places... Oh, and TikTok. And Blue Sky. And Threads. But apart from all those places, no one knows where I am. Yep, the big slug man as a demon prince. Same method with the harbinger of decay in a sense. Current demon prince model is just not my jam for a Nurgle demon prince. Fair enough. He might be a little bit big. We don't know the scale on him yet. Might be doing yourself a disservice in your games of Warhammer 40,000, I'm assuming. If I had to guess, Festus is going to be big. Because the mount was massive. Other than the one time where you leaked your address. Ah, yes, but I did delete that from the internet. So unless anybody wrote it down, you still shouldn't be able to find it. What Space Marines are you building today? If we get timed for it, we're either going to build a couple more Sternguard or we're going to build some Victrix Honour Guard. We have 3 Victrix Honour Guard to build and 4 more Sternguard and 5 more Terminators. That's the full to-do list. And then our army is complete. And then we must begin the long painting job of 2,000 points of Ultramarines. Which, if I'm super into it, over a course of a week, I could probably get it done. But that would involve having a completely clear week. And I do not have one of those. Not yet. I do in December. I have lots of clear weeks in December. At the moment, all of my weeks in December are clear. Well, apart from Christmas week, obviously, where I'll be Christmasing. I'll be finally having that well-earned time off. Does Christmas fall on a Wednesday this year, or is it a Thursday? Which will become over 2k once Big Titus comes out. Maybe. We don't know how many points Victrix Honour Guard are. Their rules and points should drop soon now that the World Championships are over. At least that's what they said a couple of weeks back. When they showed off the rules for the Victrix Honour Guard. I might already be over 2,000 points, I don't know. As it stands, I'm currently under by about 150, something like that. I can't remember. I'll have a look in a sec. There we go. Dry brushing all done. I built 8 Vanquishers yesterday. What a labour-intensive line infantry set that is. Realised this morning I've put the shoulder pads on the wrong shoulder for 2 of those. The skinny... Yes, I did the same thing, Fake Street Spirit. And you'll never know which ones. But we probably did the same thing on the same models. Shall I have a look? Oh yeah, Ultramarines. Should be at the bottom. Yes. So Ancient and Terminator armor, Captain Sicarius, Captain and Terminator, Chaplain and Terminator, Librarian and Terminator armor, Marnie's Calgar, Rebooted Gilliman, 5 Sternguard, 5 Sternguard, 5 Assault, 5 Assault, 5 Terminator, 5 Terminator. Yeah. So currently it's 1860. Now, I would anticipate that Sicarius might go up, but Marnius Calgar will come down, because he shouldn't be 200 points, because he doesn't have his 2 Honour Guard. So I would anticipate him going down by about 50, because it's the Antilocus version. So 150 points, maybe. He might even be surprised and be like 120. So it might come down by 80 points, right? But I would anticipate Captain Sicarius to go up, maybe by 15, to make him a 100-point model, something like that. I don't think the Terminator Assault Squad is going to change. I think it'll still stay 180 points. So if I take in a saving of 80, let's say, or 70 points, that would give me 140. That would give me 210 points. And hopefully, Victrix Honour Guard aren't more than 100 for 3. But we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. At least you didn't put a Dreadnought's legs on backwards. Oh, I have done. I've done all those. If you've made a mistake in the building process, trust me, I've probably made the same one. Because I'm bad at Warhammer. Right, let's do the rims of these bases. With some Black Legion. Who sticks the thunderbolt on the right shoulder? Only the shameful. No, that does include me, Fake Street Spirit. It does, because I did the same thing. And didn't realise until it was too late. It bothered me so much that I'd done that, I contemplated buying a box of Vanquishers just to get 2 more to replace them. Build a set of 5 and stick that into one of my other storm hosts, and then just have 3 that existed that I could maybe convert into something like Night Questers or something like that, but I decided against it in the end. That's not to say that it doesn't cross my mind every now and then. Boom, 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 boom. That was a tricky one. Old metal penitent engine legs, wrong way round. Okay, no, that one I haven't done. I never built one of the old metal ones. Why am I showing under my old YouTube name? I'm not sure. It's one of it. YouTube has been a bit weird, and sometimes now in the chat you appear as at something else. I'm sure there's a fix for it. I don't know what it is. Are YouTube ever going to fix the usernames thing, do you think? I will. Do you know what I'll do? I will shoot a message to studio and see if they've see if they know about it. I mean, they probably do. It'd be much easier if I had 100,000 subscribers, because then I have a partner manager. Then I could talk directly to them. But I don't. Did you find any reasonably priced grots to fix your external hard drive? I'm waiting for it to come back to me. There we go. So you just need some tufts. Is that the Kill Team box? It is indeed. These are the new stealth suits from the Kill Team box. When are you going to do some more Grand Cathay, as I have almost finished building the army now and need your amazing tutorial videos? We will, given as they've now announced a bunch of new Cathay stuff, we will aim to do Cathay stuff when new Cathay stuff comes out. That'll be when we try and do current stuff that we've got. Because it's built and primed, it's just having the time to do it. It's relevant to the conversation then at the time. Whenever that new stuff comes out. The only people that got dead silence were people in the GW programs. That stuff sold out so fast. It's not true. I don't think they made very many of it, to be honest. To be fair, it's not true that it sold out. No, it did sell out fast. It's not that. Oh man, this is the it's the endless debate, right? Is when something like a Kill Team set like this comes out, right? Is whether or not I even touch it. Most of the time I feel like I shouldn't, because everyone gets mad. I'm interested in the Artist Opus brushes you are using. Do you have both 00 and 000? No, I just have 00. That's the only one I use. That one. Can you tell me something about it? Is it worth it? I have found this brush to be, this size brush to be the absolute workhorse of every highlighting thing that I ever do. It's a very versatile brush in that regard. I use it for contrast paints, I use it for base paint, I use it for layer paints. It is my highlighting brush, it is my workhorse brush. I will use this until it is no longer usable. And it takes sort of, because I paint every day, all day, every day. It takes 4 or 5 months for that to happen. Sometimes 6 months. Depends on how much of it, how much I abuse it. So I have a number of them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've had 5 of these. I've been through 5 of these in the time that I've been on YouTube. So maybe that's 1 a year then. That averages out that way. But yeah, I use it for every single highlight that I do. It's just an excellent brush. It just holds its point so nicely. That said, I've not tried any others. I would like to. I don't have time to take risks. I know this brush works, so I use this brush. If somebody sent me some brushes, I would try them out, but I don't have time to take the risks on it. If I need to replace this brush, I just replace it with the one that I know works. Mad that GW knows this stuff is popular and decides to make it hard to get for no reason. It's an interesting one. I think there is a fault in so here's the question around how would you forecast it? So with a box like Kill Team, right, is how would you forecast how many of those to make? Because they don't make, any business will tell you it's insane to make one for everyone, because you'll end up with a bunch of dead stock. It'll just sit in a warehouse forever. So there'll be a data metric that Games Workshop uses to figure out how many Kill Team boxes to make, and how many is a sufficient amount, and also, you know, how much is a stretch goal. That'll be how much they'll make. And I don't know what data points they use to figure out how many of these things to make that there are. For example, if you went through the list of everybody who ever bought anything Kill Team, you could see that adds up to X transactions, and then you could say, well, this is going to be a popular one because it's a Kill Team box, so we'll make enough for that many. But then you end up with a pile of them that don't sell, right? As often happens with stuff like the manufacture of things like Scaventide. Even Leviathan. Leviathan was around for a long time after it sold, because they made one for everyone. Indomitus sold out immediately because they didn't make enough, clearly, in that instance. Dominion, they made too many. And so ended up with a bunch of spare Dominions that lay around forever and ever and ever and ever. For them, it's a... again, I have no idea what data points they use to figure out how many of this thing to make. So who knows in that regard. The problem with it, of course, is that we don't have access to any of their sales figures, so we don't know how many of them they made and how many of them they sold. It seems like they didn't make enough, and everyone... the thing that always gets... the reason people get mad at me and other YouTubers is if we make a video with it, they're like, Games Workshop only made 15 of them and gave 14 of them to the creators, and only one was for sale. That's the impression that gets given off. So it means I get it in the neck for having one because somebody else doesn't have one. In the comments section and in my private messages, which is always fun to experience as a person. But that's the thing, is how many did they make? We don't know. We'll never know. And I also don't know what their metric is. But I also know that they can't make one for everybody and then just sit on dead stock for the rest of time. I know you're not saying that, James. I know you're not. I know you're not saying that. Don't trust me. I know you're not saying that. There's a lot of people who say the same thing though, who are mad at me. And all the other creators who do something with it. The thing I would suggest, versus boxes are always harder to sell too. People often only want half of it. Yeah, and like that's the thing, is I think from well, and here's the interesting thing. Sometimes with it doesn't matter what the product is, right? Because sometimes like Games Workshop will send out a box of something, and it will seem like, you know, me as somebody who's also a fan of other people's work, I'll log on in the morning and I'll like, oh, I want to see what everyone else did, and it's just a ghost town. So I'm like, oh, did nobody else get sent this? Did nobody do anything with it? Like, what's the deal there? Like, what happened? Because you know, there'll be sometimes I'll put something out and I'll be like, is mine the only video? You see what I mean? Like, especially like sometimes with like Lord of the Rings stuff in particular. I try and do as much of the stuff that they send me for Lord of the Rings. I don't often get around to all of it, but like I try and do as much as I can. And sometimes I'll put something out for Lord of the Rings, for example, and I'll be like, was I the only one? As much of the stuff they send you that GW sends you. Oh, you've sent me a lot of stuff as well. I've been trying to figure out what paintbrushes to use. Why do you use Citadel brushes despite their reputation? I'm unaware of their reputation. But the reason I use Citadel brushes is because it's part of the GW ecosystem. and my stuff stays within the GW ecosystem. If I'm painting Games Workshop models, I use the contrast paints, base paints, layer paints, and I use GW brushes as well. So that there's a one-stop shop for somebody who wants to follow one of my videos. They know where to get all the stuff. Presumably, if you're a brand new person to the hobby and you've stepped into Games Workshop for the first time, all of that stuff should be fairly familiar because it's all in the one place. I don't tend to stray out of the ecosystem. Now, if we move on to something else, if we do other things, then we will branch out into more different equipment and this, that, and the other. I think GW brushes are perfectly fine, and I use them for everything that I do. And actually, they're probably one of the better suited for the things that I do because I use contrast paints that can do a lot of damage to brushes, right? So spending loads of money on a bunch of Winsor & Newton brushes only for me to wreck them with contrast paints actually probably isn't the wise thing to do for me financially, because just throwing money away on broken brushes over and over and over again isn't conducive to me being able to pay the rent or eat. I bought some stuff earlier, Haleth Worst Son of Hammer. For the idea that I haven't told you about yet. What sold out? Dead Silence. Oh, James answered you. I only stopped using them because the quality control was pissing me off. I get one fantastic brush, then 4 garbage ones in a row. Yeah, see that I have experienced that with the reason I've had that with the Army Painter. I had that with the Army Painter brushes, right? So I used for ages. Have I still got one? I think I do. Yeah. So this one, I used the Insane Detail. That one. I used this for like eyes and things. I used it for everything. And then it got wrecked. So I bought another one. And it literally made content. It was so funny. I dipped it into the paint, and then all the bristles just went, ah! And I was like, well, that's not meant to happen at that size. So washed it, and then I cleaned it. I actually put it through some brush cleaner to try and see if there was anything stuck in there that shouldn't have been, and then it did it again, and I was like, oh. So I bought another one, and then it did the same thing again. I was like, oh, for God's sake. So I bought another one, and then that one was fine, and I was like, well, I can't go through this over and over again, which is why I basically transferred over to Artis Opus brushes, because it needed it just I haven't had that with Artis Opus brushes. I had it once on one of the size 3s, but then again I put it through some brush cleaner, and there was like a bit of, I don't know, it was like a bit of fluff or a bit of glue or something that was right deep down in the ferrule, and it just it screwed up the brush. So I don't know, it came out and it was fine. I tried using stuff like this one, the Hobby Base Coating brush from the Army Painter. The problem was I found that it had too much spring in it. I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. It was the Hobby Small Detail brush. There was too much spring in it, right? So the bristles just went pow every time. So like it was flicking off. So I was like applying a contrast paint or applying something like that, and it just flicked off at the end every time. So a little particle of it would just end up on like either on my hand or on the base or on another part of the detail of the model. So I was like, well, okay, that brush is never going to get used again, and so on and so forth. The Vallejo brushes I thought were very good. I thought they were very good. The Pro Modeler 2 I thought was an excellent brush. Really, really good brush. Top brush. So yeah. People still don't know the content creator quotas are completely separate from the main production run. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's true. Easy answer, because it promotes GW products, which equals being sent more stuff for free. There is literally no reason to use 3 contrast paints to establish a base layer, yet he does it. No, it's true. There's no reason for me to do anything. I just do it to be an evil bastard to all of you. That's why. You've caught me. So what you're saying is you want 50 Artist Opus sets for Warhipster-esque. The second channel where you do a bunch of pompous tutorials. Oh, I see what you're saying. No. No, I don't want that. No. It's yeah. The purpose behind it is to create an ecosystem, and so as a consequence that it becomes a one-stop shop to get, rather than there being like a gotcha moment in terms of like a purchase, right? Because when I was starting to use YouTube for my purposes to learn to paint some miniatures, when I sort of came back to the hobby after a bit, I've told this story before, but I was looking for videos on how to paint an Ultramarines vehicle, basically, because I was painting some Ultramarines. I was looking at how to paint Ultramarines vehicles, and every video that I looked for, regardless of the search terminology, said, and then we pull out our airbrush, every single one. And I didn't want to buy an airbrush, because I just didn't want to. I wanted to use a brush. I couldn't find a single video that was just using brushes, so I was like, that went into the locker for later on. I ended up not painting any Ultramarines vehicles because there wasn't any videos on how to do it, so I didn't feel confident enough. So yeah, as time then went by, I obviously when the channel happened, I was like, well, let's try and keep things there, because I don't want to do a video where it's like, we're going to paint this model with, you know, we're going to use Blood Angels Red, and then we're going to use Black Legion, and then we're going to use this. Oh, but then we're going to use this white paint from this company over here that you probably don't have. Or you might have. But, like, you probably don't have. So, do you know what I mean? That was the whole point. So, like, with the same with brushes and airbrushes and primers and stuff like that. Very occasionally will we use, like, Colour Forge primers if it's appropriate for it. But like, we won't just. I tend to try not to just throw too much stuff into a video that is that can't be done with with that ecosystem. So if we were to like jump into something like I don't know, Song of Ice and Fire. If we were to jump into that, right, I would probably pick. We're going to do this with Express Color. So that would just be, we'll do these with Express Color and Game Color and all that kind of thing. So that way it becomes, you know, it becomes an ecosystem, right? So it's a one place to go. And if we were to do, who is it that uses a lot of Army Painter in their stuff? Is it Warlord Games? Is there a partnership there? Oh, they've got their own paints now, actually, haven't they? I'm trying to think. Anyway, if there was a game, the X's versus the B's, and it's all done with Army Painter, we will do all Army Painter stuff and use Army Painter brushes and Army Painter paints. Bolt action, thank you. That's a good one. Yeah, so if we do bolt action, we'll use the Army Painter speed paints and Fnatic. Is that what they're called? Yeah. I'm curious about the new wave of Army Painter brushes they've announced. The bionic ones. Bionic ones? I haven't seen those. Army Painter bionic. Bionic bristles. The next era of Wargamer brushes. Ah, they're synthetic brushes, I see. Yeah, those will be interesting. Again, I've found with synthetic brushes that they again, they have a little bit too much spring in them, and then you would a little bit too much spring in them, which then causes some splatter. So which is why for contrast paints, that if it's too springy a brush, it's not quite good enough. You see. So it'd be interesting to actually have a go with those, because the GW ones, the GW synthetic ones, I don't like. They've got way too much spring in them, and they always develop this little hook right at the end. They always do. They just do it, and that's my experience with them. So I personally don't recommend them. I'd love for them to be good, because I would like to use a synthetic brush. That would be much nicer, but it doesn't work out that way. While I know mileage may vary, my Storm Shield varnish should have a mattifying effect, right? It should do. It should be. Is Storm Shield is the matte one. Ard Coat is the gloss one. It should be more matte. What about the new Artis Opus paint line? I haven't used it. They don't know who I am. Storm Shield is semi-gloss. Ah, there you go. There is literally no apparent reason why someone would want to apply 3 layers of contrast paints to get to a result similar, if not the same, to MAC Blue. No, I don't see why you would do that. I do 2 layers, if that helps. That's why. So I think I get the. If you want me to explain it to you, the reason why I do it the way I do it is if you want to do things in a classic way, you can apply Macragge Blue to a model, or you could spray your model Macragge Blue. Of course you could. Then, if you want to add some shadow, you want to add some shade to it, right? So you're either going to do a line shading of that, or you're going to do an all-over shade. But then it's no longer the right color, right? So if you spray something Macragge Blue, and then we go in and we do an all-over shade of, let's say, Drakenhof Nightshade, then it will be that's two, right? Then we're going to relayer it with Macragge Blue, so that's now three layers, and then we're going to highlight it with Calgar Blue and Fenrisian Grey in the same way that I did on the other. That's 5 layers. So for me, with the way I do things, is I prime it with Grey Sear. The reason I prime things with Grey Sear is because I do the whole thing with contrast paints, which therefore means that using Macragge Blue isn't going to be good, because if I use contrast paints over any other detail, it's all going to be tinted blue, right? So if I apply some, Cygor brown over the top of Macragge Blue, we're going to have blue brown, which isn't great. So if I then want to use contrast paints for those details, well, if I prime things with Macragge Blue, I would have to, base it manually by hand with Grey Sear, so 2 thin coats of that. So, before I can then use contrast paints. So the reason that I then prime it in Grey Sear, so I don't actually have to do that, because that is a for me, it's a waste of time. So I then use Assaman Blue, and then Ultramarines Blue, and then for the people out there who worry about making mistakes, or it's too splodgy, or it's too coffee stainy, or it's too thing, in the video what I do is I do a glaze of Macragge Blue. That's 3 layers on the model. But you don't have to do that if you're perfect at the painting, because, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at it, so I generally don't have to do it, but I still do, because, it'll make it as supportive a video as possible. And then I highlight it with Fenrisian Grey, with Calgar Blue, and then Fenrisian Grey. So it would appear that it's exactly the same, except we cut out the shading stage, because if we prime a model in black, we still have to do 2 to 3 layers of Macragge Blue. So actually, classic paint is now 8 layers, 7 to 8 layers versus my 5. That's why. But it means everything else can just be one single layer. I hope that helps. Cannot wait for your inevitable video on the new Warden of Ultramar. Thanks, Dom. I'm looking forward to doing it myself. It should be good. It would be an interesting video, that one. That one's going to be a long one because there's all those different things going on in that video. It's like with the Victrix Honour Guard, right? It's going to be, because that was obviously, that's 3 different models which can be painted relatively similarly, and then like the flag is just a model on its own, essentially. But thank you very much for the $5 there, Dom. That's very kind of you. How do you store all your armies? Badly. They're on tables and on shelves. I want to store them properly, but that won't happen until we move. Almost all bases and layers need 2 coats as opposed to 1 coat of contrast. That is true. That is true. That is true. Yeah, that we've done sort of that contrast versus classic thing, and I kind of wanted to revisit that again recently to do another version of it. But the problem is doing it like as a side-by-side video. Was the issue that I was struggling with. Yeah, because I have an image in my head of how it should go and how it should look, but I never kind of quite got it how I wanted. I'm really proud of the 2 that we did, the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels one. Are you moving soon? No, not anytime soon. But we will move. When I first started painting Blood Angels, I took the usual guidance of priming in black, but the number of layers to get to red frustrated me. Oh yeah, red over black is really hard. That's there's a couple of traditionally slightly more difficult ones, is like red over black and yellow over black as well. It's like the traditional way of doing way of doing white, like White Scar's armor, right? If somebody said to prime it black, I've seen that done. And it's like, then we use Celestra Grey, then Ulthuan Grey, then Corax White, then White Scar. And I'm like, and we have to do like 3 layers of Celestra Grey before it's even close to being the right colour, which is funny. The contrast versus classic methods are great, and sure, you can take either method to get your desired result. Exactly. There's no right way to paint miniatures. And there's no wrong way to paint miniatures. You can paint them however you like. The trouble of watching you is I want to paint so much and only have my NID colours from your playlist. I'm sorry. My way is wrong. Your way is not wrong. Your way is always renders some really, really pretty results. Good evening, Martin. Right. It's 25 to 8. Let's see if we can just quickly tuft these. I just need to have a quick look at what was it? Which colour tufts did I use? Oh, marvellous. Dark moss. Alright, let's quickly get some dark moss on these. I must have an in-progress dark moss, surely. Tiny dry green, burned, tiny beige, tiny dark moss. Yes, that's an in-progress one. Winter, green, brown, copper brown, dark moss 2 mil. No, that's not right. Dark moss 2 mil. Well, that's interesting. Oh, yes. Tiny and just normal. Right, okay. White garden flower set. Do you have any advice on how to get my contrast paints to dry evenly / brighter? I was copying your Archon video and my turquoise was almost way darker than yours and dried patchy. It's probably, in that instance, Soviet spies, that you've probably got a little bit too much on your brush. The whole thing with the way that I do it is you want to have enough on your brush that it's not forming a drip, but not so little that you can see all of the bristles. I've actually got the splotches and blotches video coming next week, which is a stream that we did. You can go and watch the stream. It's just there's a cut down version. That video will be released next week, which might provide a little bit more insight into how to do it. But it sounds to me like you might have had a little bit too much on your brush as you were doing it. So you just want to manage that a little bit and just try and have a little bit less on your brush at the time. The other thing as well is that if you need to, I have found that having the magic mix for avoiding splotches and blotches is roughly 4 parts contrast paint to 1 part Lahmian medium, because Lahmian medium acts as a like a thinning agent, like a flow improver basically in contrast paint, which is why I use it. What is that non-GW product that you're using? I thought you could only use GW products. Well, thankfully, I don't do videos on how to tuft. Also, Games Workshop doesn't make a good array of tufts, so I don't use them. They used to. They used to make Middenland tufts and Mordheim. I didn't like the Mordheim ones, but I really liked the Middenland. And interestingly, the what's it called? I think at one point Gamers Grass did make tufts for Games Workshop. Before they moved it in-house. Because the mixed green tufts are identical to Middenland. But yeah, as I say, next week, because this Thursday, it's going to be the stealth suits. Next week is splotches and blotches and Helm Hammerhand and the ultimate horse video. I'm starting to think I didn't use these. No, I did. Yeah, I didn't like the bright green ones and the bright yellow ones that Games Workshop replaced their pale green and sort of mixed turf colour with, which is why I ended up going to Gamer's Grass. I tried some Army Painter tufts. They were quite nice. There was a set of swamp tufts, I think they were called, that came in the old. I want to call it the sort of hobby tool set. I don't know if they still make that. But I really liked those because that was like, it was like black turf with like these like little sort of pale strands that came out. I thought that was really, really, really nice. I tried out some flowers from this random thing I found on, I think it was Amazon actually, and they were not fit for purpose because they had to be fully super glued in, and they had to be like caked in texture paste. Because they're actually meant for setting into scenics and like model railways and stuff like that, which is what I figured out later on, which is my bad. Because like I said, I've done a lot of learning off camera, so I never used those tufts as a YouTuber. But some of my old Sylvaneth have these, my old sort of wintry Sylvaneth. Have these massive tufts on them because they're meant for model railways. I have to go into an IBM office in person to do a likeness check, but I can renew my passport online and use it for ID for other IDs, and mine's the digital ones. Corp policies are always odd. Oh yeah, we've experienced that with the house buy. They wouldn't let us send them copies of our ID. We had to go to the solicitors to show them, but for something else they were like, oh yeah, no, that's fine, you can just digitally send us. It was like the same thing. It was like, okay, that's just weird. It was very odd. Is what it is though. I had that though when I worked at HSF. They asked me to send them my copy of my passport, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I sent them a copy of my passport, and then they asked for a witnessed. They asked for a signed document from a witness. And I was like, okay, well, it has to be an official witness. So I'd never experienced that before, but I discovered that day. If you ever need a professional witness for a document signed, you can go and ask your local pharmacist. There we go. Done. Lovely stuff. So that basing material is still drying on Helm, but today we did manage to finish off Helm Hammerhand, King of Rohan. Inspired, but well, this version of the model comes from War of the Rohirrim, the new film. So that video will be happening next week for all of you lovely people. And we have now finished the bases for the stealth suit team from Dead Silence. So this video will be coming to you on Thursday. And yeah. We should have the horses video for you next week. I should be live on Wednesday. Tailing many Warhipsters hopefully this Sunday. Lots of content coming your way this week. But even more cool stuff coming next week. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to pootle off. And I shall see you all on Wednesday if you're about. But yeah, have a good one. Hand of farewell. Bye for now. Actually, I'll just put my face there. Hello. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'll see you later. Have a good one, chat. Bye.